But I got a few examples from yesterday, no, not yesterday, from Friday. I have one example on ES from Friday. I have one example on NQ from today. And we're going to go over power of 3, which, I mean, everyone is familiar with, but we're going to be going over how to use power of 3, the manipulation portion. How do we use that? We're going to be going over that. How do we use that to really calculate how far price can move? And I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with the Judas swing. If you can find the Judas swing, right, which is the manipulation, so you obviously have accumulation, right? You're going to have accumulation, which is going to look something like this. And if you can find your Judas, which is your manipulation right here, then we can get the distribution. So, what is power of 3? What is power of 3? We got accumulation, manipulation, and distribution, right? We have accumulation, manipulation, and distribution, right? So, obviously accumulation is going to be the accumulation of positions in a certain area. And this is fractal, right? So this can be on the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 1 day. This can even refer to sessions. So this can be the Asia session, the London session, sometimes even the New York AM session or the New York PM session. So this accumulation part is very, it's discretionary. So it can, like finding this, it can be anywhere. Manipulation part, this is also discretionary. And this manipulation, finding this is, will basically give you your bias, and not only your bias, I mean especially on the higher time frames, but it will also give you your entry. So your entry can be during the manipulation, which is what ICT says in the power of 3. If you want the best prices, you want to be buying below or when it's manipulating, and you're obviously going to want to catch the distribution portion, which is going to be this. So for short, we're just going to call this AMD, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So we don't got to be saying those fancy words. So how do we use this in our trading? How do we use the power of 3 in our trading? So we're going to be looking at our monthly power of 3. So I'm sure a lot of you guys already see it, and it's pretty obvious. If our opening price is right here on this Sunday, July 2nd, that's our opening price, right? And according to this scale model of the power of 3, our accumulation is where? It's right here, right? Our manipulation is where? It's these two legs here. And our distribution is where? It's going to be here, right? If you use this model here on our power of 3, this is all fractal, by the way. This is on the 4 hour. This is the monthly power of 3. We can use this on a lower time frame on the 1 minute. But if we're just focusing on this chart right here, once we find the Judas, right? So there's, you can actually find the Judas by finding you can find the manipulation by finding the tiny move. And if you're taking notes right here, this is what you want to write down. So when accumulation isn't that important, okay? After accumulation, you're going to have a very, very obvious manipulation, right? So where does our obvious manipulation happen? It's going to be right here. Let me get this cursor here. It's going to be these two down candles right here, right? How low do we go? That's the question. So we have manipulation lower, and this is the key part right here. Typically, you get a mini Judas before your actual Judas, and that would be these two up close candles here. So we have positions going short here, and there's obviously people trying to go long here off of this BISI, right? Positions going long here, that's going to be your mini Judas. So if we take this mini Judas here, what does this show you? This shows you this standard deviation right here, right? So how do we use this, right? So as I've been mentioning in the general chat, which is the alpha chat, I've been saying how whenever you're in a position, you want to be targeting the 2 to the 2.5. And what is the 2 to the 2.5? So consider the 2 to the 2.5, if you're taking notes, call it the retracement / reversal area. You either get a retracement or you get a whole reversal, depending on what section you're on. So if you're on the manipulation, you're obviously going to get a reversal. If you're on the distribution, you're going to get a retracement. Okay? and most likely that a retracement is going to be back into like optimal trade entry, or back price is going to seek like some type of imbalance. So this is you can use this in confluence with your trading. So 2 to the 2.5 reversal retracement area, all right? But what about these other numbers, the 0.5, the 1, and the 1.5? So the 0.5 is if you end up going, what's it called? If you end up going short, let's say you went short here at this mini Judas. You knew for some reason, maybe there was SMT or some other indication, maybe the dollar was heading higher, so you knew the indices were going to head lower. Maybe you got some under sort of indication. So let's say you went short here. The 0.5 is more of just like a short-term target if you don't want to hold all the way to, let's say like you only went in one contract and you don't want to hold all the way to the 2 to the 2.5 and you just want to get your quick profit, call it a day. So that would be your 0.5. That's how I see it. The 1 to the 1.5, this is called the silver bullet zone, the setup area. This is where you can find a setup. It isn't always in the silver bullet time frame, which would be your, so the silver bullet, there's 3 silver bullets, and I'm sure you guys are aware of this. There's your London silver bullet, which is 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. There is your New York AM silver bullet, which, I mean, basically everyone knows about this one. It's going to be your 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. New York standard time, and your PM session silver bullet, which is 14 to 15, 2 to 3 p.m. New York standard time. So there are 3 silver bullets, and for example, this one right here, this silver bullet is obviously provided at the 10 to 11, right? So if we mark, this is on the 4-hour, by the way, so these are 4-hour candles. They're not going to be all perfectly aligned with the silver bullet. But on a lower time frame, you will most likely find this 1 to 1.5 in a silver bullet. Anyways, sorry for that little rant there. So 1 to 1.5, you can call this your silver bullet / setup area. We'll find a setup here. So most likely in this area, you'll find a retracement into an imbalance or a PD array. So what PD array do we see here? We find a SIBI here. And if we really want to go higher, we have an order block with another SIBI right there. Obviously, it reacted off of the order block, which is these 2 up close candles before the big move down. These act as an order block, and we obviously have a SIBI there. We reacted off of that. So as soon as we got that reaction, we target the 2 to 2.5. So you don't even have to catch this move here. You could just wait for the 1 to 1.5 retracement area, look for a PD array within that price leg, and then that's when you'll find an entry. So you don't always have to catch this like the top, unless you're like, you're aggressive like that. So that's how you find your Judas swing. So this is your Judas. So remember, going back to our scale model here, we have accumulation right here, manipulation right here, and distribution. This is the leg where you want to be part of. Okay, so you can actually make a decent amount of money just catching the Judas, which is what a lot of people do. If you want to call it a day earlier in the day, which is most likely, you don't have to wait for the distribution leg, which takes a little bit longer. If you're more impatient and you just want to, call it a day earlier, then just look for the Judas. And the Judas, like I said before, you want to be looking for the mini manipulation before the actual manipulation leg, targeting the 2 to the 2.5. And okay, so let's say you waited for this entire move, you didn't catch the move, but now you know the Judas ends here. How do we find this leg here? So to find this price leg here, you want to see 2 things. And if you're taking notes, you want to see 2 things, all right? You want to see liquidity get taken. So you have your Judas leg here, right? Now this leg, you want to see this get taken, okay? And this will be your Judas. I guess you can say your Judas after the Judas. This is kind of confusing, but hear me out. We already had a manipulation. This is our manipulation leg here. But we're obviously not going to use this entire leg. Like, be realistic. Like, you're not going to use this entire leg here to target all the way, to target all the way to 46.60. I mean, it's possible. Like, price almost reached in there. But if we want to be realistic, we want to catch the most recent, write this down, the most recent leg that took liquidity. Which one is that one? It's this one right here. So if liquidity gets taken here, Which leg did that? This leg right here, right? And what does that show us? So that shows us a few things. So like we talked before, 2 to the 2.5, if we extend it in time, what happens here? This is our reversal retracement area, right? So what happened in this price leg? We had a rejection there, there, and there until we finally came down. So 1 to 1.5 area, you see here how we... So if we start with our standard deviations, the 0.5, you see how we came up to the 0.5, had a tiny little retracement, but price likes to seek the 2 to the 2.5 mainly. So as soon as price got past that, it creates sort of a little order block there, heads higher. The 1 to the 1.5, this is your setup zone, right? So you're most likely find a setup here. Now this is higher time frame, but if we were to look for a setup here in this area, we can see that we have an order block here. And then if we really zoom in, we have a BISI there that holds. So, and that's obviously within our 1 to 1.5 parameters. And as you can see, this level actually held. Once we got past it, we actually held this level here, here, and here. Okay. So this is your setup zone, and let's say hypothetically this was like on the 5-minute. Pretend this isn't the 4-hour chart. This was on the 5-minute. Let's say you enter off of this BISI here, and let's say your stop is below this swing low here, and your target is a 2 to the 2.5. That would be your play. Disregard the big numbers, like you're obviously not going to be catching 59 points in one day. It's possible, but if you're targeting 5 points, this is very, very possible. As you can see here, from the 1 to the 1.5, as soon as we got a setup, straight to the 2 to the 2.5, the 2 is your exit. You don't want to be holding all the way to the 2.5. So maybe like a tick below the 2. That would be your exit. So as we can see here, if we use the power of 3 with standard deviations and we use our standard deviations on the manipulation legs, we can actually find the distribution legs here. Guys, this is actually post-recording, so it may sound a little bit different, but the class was live, so I didn't have a proper outro to that video. And I really do just want to give you guys a proper outro. Just want to say thank you guys for watching. If you guys did make it this far, make sure you guys like the video, and if you guys could share it with your friends. This method is very, very consistent. I also want to thank Dexter's Lab. Make sure you go follow him on Twitter. He's the one that I received more information on this strategy from. But I just want to say thank you one more time, guys. And if you guys have not yet joined the Discord, make sure you guys join the Discord. Link is in my Twitter bio. I know a lot of you guys are from Twitter. Thank you guys so much for the support, but I will catch you guys next time for the next video. Peace.